All right, we're going to talk through the tech booth for a second. Now, some of this stuff could be changing a little bit as you move forward, but we're going to start on the back here. This thing right here is a remote control. Come on over to the side so you can see this. There is a key that looks like a little diamond, and that key comes into here. And if I flick it to the left to where it says off, these lights will start to sequence off starting with 6. What all this is a remote control that goes to the basement. This is turning off the power amps that power the mains, the subs, and the monitors. So when all these lights are off, it's all done. If you didn't know it, when you turn on a sound system, you always want the board to be turned on first, then the speakers. And when you turn it off, you want the speakers off first, then you turn off the board. The reason is this will amplify anything, including the sound of the system being turned on and off. That's what makes that kind of popping sound. So I'm going to take this key and put it in here and flick it to on. In the future, you are very likely going to have a touch controller just like the Longhorn Room, and this thing won't even be there. And that will take care of turning on the power sequencer instead. On the back of this rack, there's a couple of other things to be noted. First off, it's not put on evenly. It's down one hole on this side here. Well, we could change that at some point. You're going to notice an intercom. There's an intercom controller on stage. This is the older style. There's a party line, as they call it. You plug one of these things in. It's carrying audio and both a microphone and also audio from everybody else, and you have A and B controllers, which there's a controller on stage which sets that stuff up. They have not used that in a while since we've had a wireless system, which is, I'm not gonna do a video on that because I don't even know how long that will be in existence. But one more thing, you're gonna notice down here it says Dante QLAN NDI ports 1 through 16 and control ports 17 through 24. That's referring to this switch right here on the back of the board of the rack. So if you're plugged into any of the numbers that say 1 through 16, you're on the Dante or NDI feeds. And if you're plugged into one that says 17 through 24, then you would be on one of the control port networks. Watch the AV networking video if you don't understand what that means. And we're gonna just, while we're here on this side, I'll show you a couple other things. This remote control belongs to that projector. You shouldn't need it to turn it on or off. Right here, there's this controller, and it says display on or off. That will power on that projector right now. And then these input functions are currently broken. And what it basically means is that we do not have the ability to change inputs, including from the front of the stage, until we have a new system in here, and this wouldn't be relevant at that point anyway. But at the moment, the cable that's plugged in here, which is coming out of the back on one of these transmitters that feeds up to that thing, you can get a feed to the projector from here. This is the only input for the projector at the moment. You can turn it on or off from here, but you can't actually change the input at all. This box, which may not exist in the future as well, is a screen controller. So when I hit the down button on it and we look over to the front, that screen is coming on down. And I can hit the stop button if I need to stop a particular area. I can hit the up button and it's moving up. So that's how you could change and adjust the screen. So we're going to come back around and take a look at the tech booth for a second. Maybe we'll have a tour on the way out. We currently have this is the back of our SQ7, our mixing board that's in here. You're going to see some stereo inputs on the back, a whole bunch of regular inputs, talkback, and some outputs. Some of these run very physically via a snake to somewhere else. Anything that's plugged in here is somewhere either close by or comes from the basement, but most of our stuff runs digitally now. I'll explain that in the audio routing video. Very important to watch the audio routing video because I'm not going to teach you how to use this, but this is the SQ. The power button's on the back right here, but you want to shut it down from the board first. This is all the lighting board, and it's controlling our house lights when it's up and on. We'll talk about that in a second. I did a video on this card already and the things that are inside of it. There's some microphones inside here, including headset mics down at the bottom. That's what these point source audios are. There's going to be clips in here, and there's no mic in this particular box, but they got a show running, so they have them hanging up in here right now. They look like this. These little mics, actually, it's just a lavalier that sits into the earpiece, so it just kind of feeds in, and you can decide where you want that to go. There's different configuration options for that. So tech booth wise, lighting controller. I'm not a lighting guy. There's a whole lot more. This is, by the way, the hub for the wireless controller right now. for headsets, and the other headsets that are wireless, they don't need a hub, they just have a little controller body pack. So here's this. This cable, we'll just talk about this in as many videos as possible. Come over here. This orange cable is the DMX cable that leaves the board. Right now, when this board gets turned on, it doesn't pass the signal correctly through to the house to turn off our wall switches. You need to turn this board on first, wait until it's loaded, unplug this cable, count to 2 or 3, plug it back into the exact same spot, and then it will take over and be able to control things. Hopefully in the future that's all fixed. Down below, I have a video on the audio, the lighting routing in here, but that cable ends up plugging in right there, the orange cable. If you ever needed a different light board or a different controller, as long as that orange cable or whatever plugs into this port is sending the signal, it'll make it through to the whole house. There's a lighting transmitter right here and some other stuff that goes back to the wall. There's a video about how that stuff works. SQ7, charging port for iPads, batteries for both our in-ear monitors and our microphones, some headphones, and then this port right here. And what we've got is an Extron unit. This is what sends video signals to the projector back and forth. This will be gone at some point in the future and replaced with something else. This is the back of the AV network switch. There's some ties right here that tie to the rest of the physical sound system, and some data patch ports right here, and this one's currently set to Dante. Everything else is a wireless mic receiver. Now there's one other thing that I wanted to point out. Oh, let's do 2 other things. First off, just as a sneaky guy, come on down here, history. You see this port right here with all these 16? This used to control antennas for an older wireless system that we don't really use anymore, but 16 is live. 16 is patched directly to the Lutheran West internet switch in the basement. So if you ever need really strong internet, you don't want to go via Wi-Fi, plug into that 16 right there. And you'll see this box, this port right here, and all kinds of stuff that feeds in and out of it. That goes down underneath and into the hallway. So we've got the snake that runs to the basement. We've got these red cables that go up to the side of the stage. We've got some Ethernet stuff. There's a fiber line, that's what that yellow thing is. It's very crowded in there. I wouldn't recommend trying to dig around in there if you don't have to. So, a couple more bits. We do have a direct line that feeds to that Netgear box. I don't know if you can see that, Elliot. There's a whole lot of stuff, but that's just a switch that's carrying Lutheran West network, not to be confused with the AV network. And then right there where it says Leviton, this thing right here is a fiber optic connection that goes back to the broadcast room. The bottom line, number 6, goes into the switch, the Netgear AV network switch, but the other ports are for cameras, and you can plug a camera in there, and as long as you patch it with the fiber optic patching, it's just like it was plugged in back there, as long as you got the connection going right. Look at the fiber optic patching video. So that's the tech booth, a little walkthrough tour, a little bit of history on some things. We're gonna go on stage in another video.